got everything. Hello, getting a late start today, but I invite you to name some of your favorite deep cut regions for spirits production. What do you think? Sotal? Sotal would be a good call, but I have a personal favorite, and it's Domfrontais. So Calvados. You ask someone on this who in the industry who kind of knows this stuff a little bit. What is Calvados? They will tell you, well, it's basically apple brandy, which is kind of wrong because you see, Calvados, both in the basic appellation as well as in the big Pays d'Auge region, which is Ball Pot distilled, that you are allowed to use a certain amount of pear. There's a maximum you can't go past, but you're allowed to use some pear in your Calva. It's not as common as it once was, but it's possible. Now, there is another region within Calvados, however, where there is not a legal maximum of pear. There is a legal minimum. There is an amount of pear you have to include, and you can go as high as 100% pear if you want to, and that's Domfrontais. Domfrontais is pear emphasis cider brandy, and that makes it very special. There's not a ton of pear brandy producing regions in the world, and most of them don't emphasize aging very much. Domfrontais does, and that's super cool, and I've got some good ones today, and I'm eager to try them. This is the one in some ways I'm most excited about. This is Wayward Cask. Wayward Cask is an independent bottler. They're based in Starlight in Indiana. So I don't really know the story here, but yeah, they're based in the Starlight distillery, and and they've got a bunch of casks of French spirits and some other things, and they're just bottling them. This is sourced from the Famille Guesdon family, and it's Calvados Domfrontais, 100% pear according to their website, and it's 15 years old. I will put all the information down below, and it's 54.6% alcohol. And I've got some Pacorys after this. I love Pacory. I adored the 6-year-old that K&L bottled a little while ago. Let's get started. And the reason I'm excited about this is it's a domestic release, and it is a Binny's pick. So even if this is not that great, go buy it. Oh my God. If you have money, spend it on this. Is money to spare? Spend it on this, just to encourage Binny's to bring in more stuff like this. Please less Ezra Brooks and, Knob Creek picks. More stuff like this, please. Sorry, I will get started on this. On the nose. Relatively soft on the nose. I'm getting some, like pear cobbler. So baked pear, pie crust, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg. Hints of dried fruit, a little bit of sorry. I'm still getting over a cold. Kinds of dried fruit. Probably more like golden raisin than anything else. Kind of intermingling with the pear. Black pepper, certainly. Black tea, Darjeeling tea. And a little bit of a floral. Good Lord. Floral overcoat. Yeah, it's very peary. But that being said, it's not the most complex nose in the world. This is very easygoing. It's very soft. It's not simple is not the word. It's like right down the middle. It's got enough complexity to keep your interest, but it's not a challenge to keep up with this. Yeah, just some kind of like mixed flowers, blossoms, a couple of roses in there. Okay. And something metallic in there too, like maybe like a couple of pennies. Yeah, not the most complex nose in the world, but I'm enjoying. Like I can't remember the last time I had a Domfrontais I wasn't fond of on the palate. So if I like mapped out a 4-quadrant taste spectrum, where like one axis is simple to complex and the other is like, difficult to yummy. This is more on the yummy but slightly simple side of things. There's details, but it's definitely this is more about crushability than is about like, stressing your brain to figure out what's going on. Oh, right in the center of this, there's this beautiful, like, pear juice infused raisins thing going on, which is just beautiful, wrapped into some clove, nutmeg, cinnamon, black pepper kinds of stuff. The color is pretty light on this, but the wood is coming through. But it's really quite balanced, actually. A little bit of a tobacco note. Kind of an imaginary burly Orientals blend. That's not a blend I've seen very often. Back in the day when I was still hunting down tins of this stuff. But that's the kind of vibe here. There's a little bit of grassy citrus thing, but there's also a little bit like a nutty thing going on. Yeah, tobacco nerds will know what I'm talking about. Pear again, but again, it's more pear cobbler this time, pear pastry. Little hints of apple coming through as well, like green apple. Mixed flowers again, same kind of mix, blossoms and roses and maybe a little bit of, maybe just a kiss of lavender in there. Lots of spices, black tea, like 1 or 2 dates as well. I mean, there is complexity to this. Don't get me wrong. It's not simple-minded by any means, but this is, with all the kind of note clusters I've named, it doesn't feel like it digs too deep into any of them. There's spiciness. Is there like a dimensionality to the spiciness? A little bit. That kind of thing. It's there's complexity, but there's not 3-dimensionality, if I can put it that way. All right. Mouth presence is pretty good. A lot of the yummy factors that I like, that kind of pure pear juice and raisin thing on the arrival and going into the mid-palate, it kind of fades pretty fast on the finish, but the flowers stick around. So it's not a bad finish, and the length and the mouthfeel are pretty good. Let's give this some water. We'll come back to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, moving on to the Pacorys. All right, so these are from Spirits from the Source, which is a kind of independent bottler subscription service thing. Emphasis on French spirits. They look very cool. But Pacory is one of the Domfrontais producers I've really paid attention to since that last session of K&L picks. I've really, really liked their stuff. This is a 2006 16-year-old, 52.3% ABV, so just a notch below the Guidon here. And yeah, let's give this a sniff. 80, just below 80% pear. I don't remember seeing an exact number on the site, but in that range, 80%ish. I enjoyed the fruit pastry purity of the Guidon. This is just much more like big and monumental and serious. Like, this smells like a grand old French spirit, even though it's only 16. Like, it's starting to take on the vibe of something that's been in oak a good darn long time, like good old Armagnac, good cognac, something like that. Tons of French oak, prunes, figs, chopped up old furniture. There's a what is that? It's so Darjeeling again, but it's almost creamy now. Like, so Darjeeling milk tea. I'm sure that exists. Someone's made that. But the pear is just coming through beautifully. I mean, it's really just kind of, you're really getting a conflict here between the French oaky notes just aggressively trying to take total control of the stage, and the pear just hanging on for dear life, fighting back, and it's glorious. Pear, like chopped up pear, but also pear juice. This is what I mean when I talk about depth of character. It's not just one kind of pear, it's different kinds. Almost like dried pear as well. There's some floral aspects. Brown sugar. Scratch that. Cane syrup. Not brown sugar, cane syrup. Tobacco-y aspects. This time it's like a deep, dark burley this time. No orientals. Nope. Orange peel. A certain earthy mustiness, like Old Cellar. Yeah, not saying that the Guidon is not my thing, because it's a Domfrontais and it totally is. But here we're entering the territory of grand old French spirit, and it feels like another level of seriousness on the palate. Oh. And here you have the difference between a really, really good spirit and a super good spirit bordering on great. Oh, man. The development on this, the journey it goes through in my mouth is really beautiful. I mean, it lands initially on, again, that same battle between the pear trying in different kinds of pear, really, an army of different kinds of pears fighting back against the French oak. And then as you approach the finish, acid starts to creep in. It starts to get a little bit of like a lemony, muddy note, which I associate more with like old rustic Armagnacs, and I'm okay with that. Oh, yeah. as if you have a battle up front between your figs and your prunes and your chopped up furniture and your tea leaves and your milk tea and your pepper and nutmeg and cinnamon on the one hand and all these different pears on the other. And they're fighting and they're fighting and fighting. And then all of a sudden, there's just a wave of lemony mud that sweeps them all away. Not sweeps, I mean, like, they're still there, but it really just sweeps in and takes over. And it's so good. I love it. This is why I love this region. Like pear spirit is so powerful and distinctive and aggressive, really. Then you take it and you just throw it in French oak for decades, and it's just there's so much potential in the category, and we're kind of getting there with this. Gosh darn. There's some like a bunch of flowers, not so noticeable in the front on the arrival and mid palate, but in the finish, as you're recovering from the tidal wave of lemony mud, the flowers pop out as well, and everything just sustains really well. This is phenomenal. I mean, for a 16-year-old French spirit, this is terrific. I'm going to give this some water. We'll come back to it. See what it does. 2, 3. Let's do like 3.5. Start with that. I'll leave it there. And finally, the same, but older. This is also a Pacory from Spirits from the Source, but it is a 2004 and it is 18 years old. And it is bottled at a terrifying 60.7%. So this is stronger than that. And that's a little bit of a terrifying thought, considering how much mouth presence this has. On the nose. I'm doing this no prep. I've not tasted... Well, I've tasted this. But these two I've never tasted before in my life, and it's just, oh my God. I'm trying to wrap my head around that. So, pear candy, and the best fruitcake you have ever smelled in your life. And like lemon peel, like toasted lemon peel. The pear has actually, if anything, gotten like a candied status. It's gotten like, caramelized and sugary, but then there's the lemony note and the prunes and the figs and dried orange. All the dried fruits. There is some chopped up wood in here, but not as much as on the 16 actually. It feels much more like it feels less dirty. It feels more kind of pure. There's a hint of earthiness again on this. There's that kind of musty cellar thing. It's so fruity. I mean, those of you watching this who are French spirits nerds and really love your sort of very peach-forward cognacs, that kind of thing. Your really fruity Armagnacs, where they get super duper old and somehow the fruit just kind of like starts piling out of them. This may be one to keep an eye out for. At least if this holds up on the palate. It's very spicy too. There's like a cinnamon sugar thing. A little bit of an herbaceousness. What is that? Basil, sage. Super duper nice on the palate. The finish is not going away. This is just, it's just grabbed on. It's not letting go. Wow. The thing is, I've got some other Domfrontais I'm going to be tasting pretty soon, and I love this category. I love this category. If you have never tasted a Domfrontais in your life, even if you can't have any of these, I beg you, seek one out. Seek out a good one that's above 40%, and just try it. Just see. Just see what that flavor is like. I'm babbling because this is amazing, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Again, there's that sense of like candied pear, like infused fruitcake. So you got regular fruitcake stuff, but then you thought, there's not enough of that. So you took the most powerful, potent candy pear bombs and you plugged it into your fruitcake, and that's kind of what this tastes like. But then it gets totally different as it goes on. There's some orange and lemon peel notes that really start to take over. The acid comes in. Is there earthiness? Yeah, there's some like cellar mustiness, but there's not the same kind of mud thing as I was getting on the 16. Again, this feels a little bit cleaner. There's also more tannin on this. There's definite like overstewed tea thing, but it's not. Imagine like that your overstewed tea is actually just like delicious fruit, delicious dried fruit and pear and like grape and oh god, this is good. Stunning. Genuinely stunning. I mean, this is, I have to see if there's more bottles of this. This is amazing. God, the finish just does not quit. It just holds long, but it doesn't feel heavy like some of the big old Armagnacs can. This feels, it still feels fruity and light on its feet somehow. This is really good stuff. Okay. 2, 3, 4. This will take 5. 5. I'm going to give out some good some good scores today. I think I can guarantee that. All right, let's go back to the Guidon. On the nose. Oh, that's fun. This is going to sound bad, but there's like a urinal cake thing that's creeped in. Maybe that is bad, but it's not unpleasant actually. It's just kind of like integrating with the pear cobbler thing. There's a little bit of like a pee-pee thing happening, but I honestly don't mind too much. This is such a weird video. I apologize. Yeah, it's brought out a little bit more of the florals too. Otherwise, we're kind of in the same spectrum as what this was before. On the palate, there's no universe, no possible world in which urinal cake is a positive tasting note. But it's in here. And I honestly don't mind it too much. It's working pretty well with the... with the pear and the kind of pastry notes and the flowers. It's very yummy. This is very, something you could just pour and drink any old time. In any weather. I mean, it's there's a weight to it, so I can enjoy this as a kind of winter warmer. But There's also a freshness to this. I could probably pour this in summer in a chilled glass and still enjoy it. But it's not winning this fight. What am I going to score this? I'm stuck between an 85 and an 86. I'm just going to call this an 80, 85 plus. Pretty good. And again, like, especially if you see on the closeout shelf, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're heading there soon. Buy it. You know, spend your money and convince Binny's to bring in more stuff like this, because you know we need this more than we need. You know, I don't know. Well, more Starlight picks for that matter. All right, but back to the Pacorys. We are on the 2006. This is 16-year-old. The cinnamon and also cardamom thing have kind of kicked in a little bit more. The mustiness is kind of kicked out. I mean, this smells, yeah, I mean, it just smells like a grand old French spirit. It's just the core of it is not, you know, your traditional cognac-y raisins and peaches kind of thing. And it's not your, or Armagnac for that matter. It's kind of a grungy pear kind of thing. Actually, a little green apple creeping in too. Lemon peel, the kind of lemon sour thing is kind of coming through on the nose, the muddiness as well on the palate. Ooh. These are really good. These are just very, very, very good. Definitely more on the kind of muddy, lemony, Armagnac side of things. I could see Barillon fans getting into this. But again, at the core of this is some very pure, grapey, almost perry, but also like grapey as well, kinds of flavors. Water has reshuffled things around. It's brought out the wood tans a little bit, but not in a way that unbalances it. I wouldn't say it changes the quality at all. I think this is excellent. This is an 88, 89. Let's see. No, this is better than an 88. There's a level of detail in this. It doesn't quite hit 90. But we're knocking on that door. This is an 89-point spirit. 89 points for the Pacory 2006. And yeah, I thought I would like this. I didn't expect myself to like it that much. But we are still not done with the video. Let us move on to the 2004. Here we go. I did add water to this, right? I mean, it smells exactly the same. It's so pretty. It's essence of like pear candy with fruitcake, and it's so gorgeous. It doesn't smell like it spent 18 years aging in something as crude as you know, a wood barrel. It smells like it was aging in, like, cotton candy. I adore this. I love this nose on the palate. I mean, home run. Home run, sailing out of the park, landing on someone's grill in the parking lot. This is great. Oh. What's shocking about this is the complexity level on this is sky high. There's pear. There's tons of French oak. There's flowers. There's acidity. There's complex stuff happening in the finish. But despite all of that, it's also really delicious. Like, this is not any less crushable than the basic little Guidon. I don't know if I'd pour this in the summer, but this is just super yummy. Home run. I think this is better with water. I'm gonna score this. Oh God, what do I get this? I'm gonna give this a 90 plus. 90 plus. No. I'm gonna go full 91 points. 91 points for this Pacory 2004. This is extremely good. I would put this up against any spirit in the world. I mean, bring your best. Bring your best. This will be able to... I don't know if this will win, but it'll be able to hold on. This is phenomenal. And yeah, there's your video. I did not know I'd be going this high when I sat down to record this. But here we are. Guidon. Really just delicious and honestly a great introduction to the category if you've never had it. You spot this at a good price. Buy it, because it's yummy, and also to encourage Binnies to do more stuff like this. Because we need more stuff like this. 2006, 89 points. This is really, really, really good, but still not as good as the 2004, 91 points on this thing. Yeah, good Lord. Thanks for watching, and cheers.